Obviously spoilers for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series and finale episode. Watch at your own risk, my friends. The Obi-Wan Kenobi series has come and gone, and I know the fandom is at war, as usual, with whether or not it was good. Overall, I really enjoyed the show, having been attached to these versions of the characters since I was a small boy. I acknowledge the show has major issues across the board, but I did like it. Today, though, I want to look at each of the 6 individual episodes and rank them from worst to best, from highs to lows. Let's do this. Number 6, Episode 4. Episode 4 was my personal low point in this series. It had me seriously doubting the direction and overall quality of the show, and that was because this was really the first episode where I couldn't ignore the poor writing. The previous 3 episodes certainly had their fair share of bad writing, but there were always other great things that distracted me from it. In this episode, there was pretty much nothing that I liked. I hated how easy the rescue of Leia was. I hated how dumb the Imperials were. I mean, hiding Leia in a freaking trench coat? Seriously? The choreography was funky, as was the cinematography, editing, set design, and visual effects. It was easily the most lackluster episode all around, and for me personally, the only one where the bad definitively outweighed the good. Number 5, Episode 2. Episode 2 I would describe as an okay episode. Daiyu was a cool environment, but I felt underwhelmed by almost everything that took place here. I despised the thugs that Reva hired to catch Leia. I thought they were bad actors or they were directed poorly, and the meth lab felt like a strange choice to me. But there were great moments like Obi-Wan finally using the Force again for the first time, and Ewan McGregor's immaculate acting when Kenobi learned his former Padawan had not, in fact, died on Mustafar. I do wish that he had not learned this from Reva, but rather sensed it when confronted by Vader, but well. I also enjoyed Leia and Obi-Wan's dynamic, even if the father figure, child archetype has been thoroughly beaten to death in Star Wars with Mando and Grogu and Hunter and Omega. Number 4, Episode 1. Episode 1 was a solid start to the series for me. I thought one of the best parts of this episode was actually the recap of the prequels. It was cut together perfectly and truly summarized them well for the 19 people on the planet who haven't seen them. Outside of that, I loved how beaten down Obi-Wan was portrayed to be, working a tiresome, monotonous job in the wastes of Tatooine, watching Luke, sleeping in a cave, and repeat. It was perfect. I could have honestly stood to have more of it. There definitely was some bad though. The infamous Leia chase scene is as bad as everyone memes it out to be, just awful blocking and direction. I also think Reva, while she eventually becomes a solid character in my opinion, comes on way too strong and irksome in this episode. But overall, it got me excited to watch what was to come. Number 3, Episode 3. This was the first of the, what I like to call, oh my god episodes. The Vader vs. Kenobi showdown that we've been waiting for was a brutal beatdown. Darth Vader was perfectly depicted. He was menacing, rotten, extraordinarily powerful, and iconic, snapping a kid's neck and dragging Obi-Wan through burning flames. Just epic stuff. We also got the nice mention of Quinlan Vos, confirming that he indeed survived Order 66, as well as some truly great, lower-key Obi-Wan and Leia moments. We're also introduced to Tala, who I enjoyed in the series as well. Episode 3 was the first episode in the series that I truly loved. Number 2, Episode 6. It was an excruciating decision trying to determine which episode to place here and which to place in the top spot. Ultimately, I decided to go with the finale in second place because I have a few more issues with it than I did with Episode 5. I thought Reva's ability to basically teleport to Tatooine was a little ridiculous, and I could have stood to have Vader and Kenobi's duel take place somewhere more visually exciting. However, I loved this episode. It was by far the most emotional. Obi-Wan's "I'm sorry, Anakin" nearly made me tear up, and I never tear up during movies or television shows.
I'm sorry, Anakin. For all of it.
It was gut-wrenching. The duel itself was mostly good as well. I think Obi-Wan was a little too powerful too quickly, but it was alright. I didn't hate Reva's redemption, honestly, though I would have preferred if she tragically had died at Vader's hand in the previous episode. The appearances of Palpatine and Qui-Gon Jinn really wrapped this episode up in a bow, and the hello there, I mean, come on, it was perfect. Number 1, Episode 5. This episode delivered on what most of us were waiting for: prequel-era flashbacks. We got both Order 66 flashbacks from Reva and pre-Attack of the Clones flashbacks from Obi-Wan and Vader. I loved how the flashbacks shaped the episode and directly informed the current events of the timeline. That is good writing. The flashbacks of the Book of Boba Fett, on the other hand, did not do that at all, which is why I felt they didn't really work. But this episode was basically perfect for me. I loved every second of it. I loved seeing Hayden as Anakin again, even if he did look too old to be a Padawan. I loved seeing Ewan rocking his big Jedi mullet once more. And I loved the sheer awesomeness of Vader's power, how Obi-Wan got the upper hand without ever fighting Vader. I even liked Reva in this episode. I thought she was great. Overall, the last 2 episodes of this series were absolutely spectacular. They were everything I'd hoped they would be and more. But let me know down in the comment section below what your rankings are, even those of you who didn't like the show as a whole. I'd be curious to see which, if any, episodes landed well for you. Leave a like and subscribe if you feel I've earned it. Thank you so much for watching, folks. I'm Zach, and I'll see you in the future.